I'd like to welcome everybody to the Delaware County Commissioners meeting. This is Monday, February 6, 2017. It is now 9:01. If everybody would stand for the pledge, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Steve, could you call the roll, please?
Mr. Henry.
Here.
Ms. Reagan.
Present.
Mr. King.
Here.
Mr. Brooks.
Here. First off, we've got a couple appointments to do. We have an appointment to the Yorktown Public Library Board. They're asking for Patricia Freeman to be appointed.
I so move. She's been on it 2 years, and this will be her first 4-year term.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Steve, could you call the roll, please?
Ms. Reagan.
Yes.
Mr. Henry.
Yes.
Mr. King.
Yes. We also have 2 appointments to the ECI Regional Planning. Myself and Marta have been on there. I know I've been on there for probably about the last 4 to 5 years. Marta's probably been on there longer than that. I know both of us would like to stay if we could get a motion and a second.
Motion to approve.
A second.
Have a motion and a second. Steve, can you call the roll, please?
Mr. Henry.
Yes.
Ms. Reagan.
Yes.
Mr. King.
Yes. Next, under table business, Jason Rogers, the EMA Sprint Nextel. John, did you look over that?
I did. I had a chance to take a look at that, and it seemed that it had boiled down to that's about the only option the county has and the best option, so I'd recommend approval of that.
Okay.
I make a motion, we approve that agreement.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Steve, call the roll, please.
Ms. Reagan.
Yes.
Mr. Henry.
Yes.
Mr. King.
Yes. Next, we need the approval of January 17, 2017 minutes.
So move.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Steve, can you call the roll, please?
Mr. Henry.
Yes.
Ms. Reagan.
Yes.
Mr. King.
Yes. Next, we have presentations to commissioners. Joe Edwards with SRI.
Thank you all very much. I appreciate the opportunity to be here. You should have in your packets a proposed resolution, a contract, and a property list. I can tell you that you have 379 properties that were not sold at the tax sale, that you are the lucky owners of the certificates for those properties. That represents about 1.8 million in unpaid taxes. Last year, the certificate sale we offered 459, sold 237 for about $336,000 in income from that. Now, some differences this year. The auditor's office and the treasurer's office have requested that we do this sale live this year. It'll be the first time we've done a certificate sale live since that statute was put in place. And I believe we could do it in this room versus the fairground because of the lack of number of bidders that come to a certificate sale versus the tax sale. So it would be interesting then to compare some of the numbers over the years of a live sale versus a online sale. I think the biggest difference is you don't bring in as much dough at a live sale, but you get more properties that go to deed because you don't have some guy in Idaho bidding not knowing what they're doing. County gets to keep their money, but the properties never go to deed, and that's really the sole function of a certificate sale, is to get these properties back on the tax roll. So, and as a result of that, last year too, the timing of the sale created some big problems for Janet in the auditor's office, and that was the fact that the sale got, I don't know when I came to the commissioners, but probably about the same time of the year, probably a lot colder than today, but in any event, the decision by the commissioners wasn't made for a while down the road, which put the sale in June, which then gave the redemption date for the certificate sale, which is 120 days, right coinciding with the redemption period from the original tax sale, which was in October. So she's requested that we move swiftly, I guess. That calendar in the should be in your packet as well, and that's the calendar that basically relies on an approval today. Obviously, may not get approved today, but every week or two that goes is going to push us closer to that time problem. And the Star Press takes a substantial time for newspaper ads for some reason. I don't know why. It's 3 times as much as any other newspaper in the state, but that's what it takes to get an ad approved and run. It takes 3 weeks versus 7 days in all others. So that's, happy to answer questions, but that's the high and low of it.
Well, I apologize on our behalf that we were lax, and that did make a burden for Ms. Kessler, because we do like her work and want to keep her happy. So.
Well, not sure Commissioner was lax as much as I think Mr. Brook wanted to look at the contract, the typical things.
Happen in government.
Right, yeah, the typical things.
Happen.
But we didn't, I guess, really think through the redemption period issue because we'd never had a sale in June. I mean, otherwise, I think the date was fine. And I would advise also that contract is exactly the same as last year's and prior years, except the live sale's 15% instead of 10. It's the only difference in the contract.
So, went from 10 to 15.
John, have you viewed this contract? You know, with this?
I just saw it this morning. There are some questions about some of, I just saw a list of properties. There's a question, at least as to one particular parcel on the list. I would ask that the commissioners hold this off for just 2 weeks. I'll get up to speed on that, and you can adopt it at your, or take whatever action you want at your February 17th meeting. That shouldn't delay the schedule too bad.
No, and in that regard, any properties that the commissioners want to give to cities, towns, any political subdivisions, schools, airport authorities, or whatever, they can do that right up until we conduct the sale here and the gavel is banged. Leading up to that, you can take those off. You can also give those certificates to not-for-profits. That's new from 2 years ago in the law. So if you've got Habitat or somebody like that wants a vacant lot, you have the right to do that as well. So if there's any, throughout this entire process, right up until the day of the sale, you can take properties off. Certainly we do that right up until the minute of the sale. And one thing I didn't mention is the other obligation on the commissioners is to establish the minimum bids, which is you've done in the past. I think 10% has it been, Janet?
Yes.
Yeah, 10% of the tax amount, and that's been the commissioner's approach the last several years.
Seems doable.
Go ahead, Janet, you want to say something?
If we delay it for 2 weeks, we'll have to go into May, and May is when they start collecting taxes. So that's going to be a problem right there. So we may have to put it back to June again, which would be a big problem there too. So I would respectfully ask that we go ahead and approve this if you feel comfortable doing so.
I think it's just the one item that, number 3 item, is that the one, Mr. Brooke, that you were concerned about?
That's one I'm been made aware of right away, yes.
Yes.
Just last week, as a matter of fact.
And we
on
can give
Thursday.
that to commission. I believe that's who wants it. Why don't we just, it'd be easier to pull it and then add it back on, wouldn't it?
Once you pull it, I don't know that you can put it back on, can you?
If it misses the advertisement, you cannot. Right.
Mr. Bookhouse not here today to speak on this. Bill, do you want to speak on this? No?
Well,
John, would it hurt, I mean, we could come back in a special meeting, it would probably take about 15 minutes. I mean, would it hurt for a few days? That gives our attorney time enough to look it over and get back with us, that way we make sure everything's...
And I'm looking at the calendar right now. It looks like the newspaper has to be delivered, I mean, the ad has to be delivered to the newspaper on February the 13th, which is what, next Monday. So, and that's the day that when you take a property off and it doesn't get in the ad, then you can't put it back on.
Right.
But, and again, you can take properties off any time you want right up until the day of the sale. But yeah, a couple of days shouldn't make any difference. And I'm speaking for Janet here, but.
I agree with you, Commissioner Tinglis. Just come back and have a
Yeah,
special meeting.
would that be all right, John?
Yeah. We can do that.
And just say we table it for now, and we can come back and have a special meeting, maybe Thursday, come in and
Yeah, I'm good with that.
I can
you
do
go with
that.
that. Just need a motion now.
I make a motion to table this for now.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to table this. Call the roll, please, Steve.
Mr. Henry.
Yes.
Ms. Reagan.
Yes.
Mr. King.
Yes.
Thank you very much. I know Janet thanks you very much as well.
Zane Bishop, the Hardest Hit Fund. Morning, Zane.
Good morning. Zane Bishop with the City of Muncie. I'd like to thank you for having me today to provide an update for the Hardest Hit Fund Belly Elimination Program. To date, the first 11 properties that we bidded out for demolition are all completed, completely down, and the site's graded. We've also awarded contracts for demolition of 88 more properties, and as we continue to bring in deeds through the tax sale and donations, we'll continue to put more out as soon as we receive those deeds. And since we are required to own the properties prior to demolition, on behalf of the City of Muncie and the Redevelopment Commission, we certainly thank you for signing tax sale certificates. We would not have been able to make this progress without your help.
Well, we appreciate the update.
Yep,
Sounds
thanks
like-
for taking these buildings down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
certainly. Do you have any questions regarding the program?
No.
Great. Well, thank you for having me today.
Thank you very much.
Next, we have a presentation, Joe Fragmenti from American Structure Point.
Good morning. I'm Joe Fragmenti with American Structure Point, engineers and architects out of Indianapolis. It's a beautiful day in Delaware County, and I'm here to talk today about, just for a second, about a beautiful project in Delaware County, the Nebo-Jackson intersection roundabout. I have with me a few members of the team that was involved in that project. Rich Zielinski, stand up, Rich, was the head of our design team. And then during construction, Craig Schroyer and Mike Ross, a couple of local boys that worked for us and made sure that everything was constructed properly out there on the project. We're very excited about the project because we think it's one of the best looking intersections in the state of Indiana. And
I'll second that.
you should be proud to have it here. Thank you. I would like to also mention your staff, Angie Moyer, who was the leader of the project for Delaware County, did an awesome job in collaboration with the town of Yorktown and the city of Muncie. It was a great collaboration of the three entities to fund and construct this project. So we're very happy to be selected as the designer of it. And as a memento of the project, I want to present to you a framed piece that we did for you, some photography that we did at the intersection that you can hang somewhere in the county. So that's what it looks like.
Nice looks.
Nice.
And it's beautiful at night also.
There you go. It's all yours now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, that's a dusk.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
This is probably the best roundabout that we have
I know,
in Delaware County.
I know. And I'm sure you'll be submitting it for some contest and bring us the good news when you win one of those.
We will. Thank you.
And if I could add, I thoroughly enjoyed working with the American Structure team. I mean, this project, we had utilities delaying, and we stayed on track, got the project open per the agreement. And I just really want to thank you for all your hard work, Mike and Craig and Rich, and pass on to Patrick as well. And the prime contractor was EMB Paving. They were great to work with. So I want to thank you for everyone's hard work.
And don't forget Marta Moody.
And Marta Moody,
Marta
yes.
got us the money.
I'm sorry, I'll never forget Marta.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we'll move on to contracts, agreements for approval. They have one with HWC for Bridge 161.
Commissioners, this is supplemental number 3. Parts, we did an archaeological investigation. We did not anticipate finding any archaeological sites, but 3 were found. And so we have to finish the investigation with those 3 sites. So this is work that's already been completed, and it's for $8,250.
I make a motion, we approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Steve, can you call the roll, please?
Ms. Reagan,
Yes.
Mr. Henry,
Yes.
Mr. King.
Yes.
Thank you.
Next, under contracts, ask Mark Slusher with Endpoint Creative that does our meetings, videotapes our meetings. I'd like to also have our redevelopment commission meetings videotaped, and I would also like the county council meetings videotaped. Asked Mr. Slusher to get us a contract with amount, what he would charge to do these. And John, you looked over the contract.
I have, I found it to be in order.
It's going to be at a monthly rate to do the 4 meetings at $500 per month. There's a lot that goes on in these meetings. There's a lot of people that can't show up to these meetings. It would be nice to have them on TV where people can view them. Even with the redevelopment commission, there's a lot that goes on there for people to actually be able to see what the commissioners in Delaware County are actually doing to help bring jobs in. So that's one of the big reasons why I wanted those meetings taped. Also with the county council meetings, I know they go extremely long, but I feel that we're setting up here, we're being viewed, we're allowing the citizens to view us also. We should also have the county council being viewed by the citizens so they can see some of the decisions that's being made for their county. So I'd entertain a motion to accept this contract with Mr. Slusher.
Second. So moved.
I'll second it.
Have a motion and a second. Steve, can you call the roll, please?
Mr. Henry,
Yes.
Ms. Reagan.
Yes.
Mr. King.
Yes.
Can these be accessed from our website?
Yeah.
Yes.
They are, okay.
Takes about, what, 2-3 days for you to,
No, doesn't take that long usually.
thank you. Good idea.
Okay. Ordinance for second reading. John, was we supposed to have something for the sheriff's department for an ordinance for second reading?
We were, and quite honestly, I just haven't had time to finish looking at it. I got waylaid on 2 or 3 other different projects, and I just apologize. It's just, so I'm not ready to talk about that yet.
Okay,
I do apologize.
okay. We just need to, we don't need to table it, just move on.
I think it's still on the table and just go on.
Okay. Maggie, can you let the sheriff know that our attorney's still looking it over, but we should be able to take care of it prior? Okay, thank you. The ordinance is for first reading, resolution establishing the intent to conduct a commissioner sale take certificates. We probably don't need to do this one at this point either, do we, John, until after?
This is all tied in with the certificate sale, correct, Janet?
That's correct.
Okay, so we could just make sure this is placed on the meeting that we would have
Yes.
Thursday, and,
Yes.
okay, so we really don't need to table it, just since we tabled the first part?
Right, no, you don't need, this is part of that.
Okay. So we'll move on to department heads and elected officials. Does anybody have anything for the commissioners?
I do. Sorry. I just wanted to inform the public that the Tillotson Bridge has been awarded to Beatty Construction. They were the low bidder. They came in about $800,000 less than what we originally estimated. So that's good news. Save some money. I will be having a pre-con meeting the middle of this month, so I don't have a schedule yet. but per contract, they cannot have the bridge closed for more than 210 calendar days. So I'll keep you up to date as I receive information.
Okay.
And we did recommend that it be completely closed
Yes, it's
instead
going to
of
be
partial.
completely closed. There will be a detour established along White River Boulevard, Nichols Avenue, and Kilgore for State Road 32.
Very good.
Do we have anybody else?
Yeah, I have something real quick. I know we've been having some issues with our 911 board. I know the newspapers playing it as a political feud. That isn't accurate. We've been having these issues. They decided less than a year ago to start meeting regularly. And we're having a lot of issues with that board. Everybody knows some of the feuds we've had with some disciplinary incidences of dispatchers. And it just continues to go on. Therefore, according to pursuant to paragraphs 2 and 15 of the interlocal agreement that the city and county has, dated December 31st, 2011, concerning the Joint Emergency Communication Dispatch Center. That contract permits either party to terminate the interlocal agreement with a 12-month notice. And I make a motion today that we terminate that agreement, and I have a letter here in front of us that we can sign.
Second that.
Have a motion and a second. Steve, call the roll, please.
Mr. Henry,
Yes.
Ms. Reagan,
Yes.
Mr. King.
Yes.
We will sign that letter, then I will see that it's delivered to, I think the notice in the interlocal agreement requires to go to the mayor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have something also, James.
Okay, go ahead, Steve.
TMA, Tax Management Associates, did an ineligible homestead program. I think it was about 5 years ago, and they recovered about $1.5 million for the county, and it's time to do that again. We try to do that every 5 years, and it's time to do that again. They've done some research, and going through about half of our taxing parcels, they saw about 300 to 350 ineligible homesteads again, and they're going to run our whole tax program. But the average for the last one was about $5,000 a parcel, and so far they've seen around 300, and so we're looking at another $1.5 million to recover. And I gave the contract to Mr. Brook this morning, and I would like to have the contract approved so we can get started on this. They did reduce their fees. 5 years ago, I believe it was 40%, and I had them reduce it down to 30%. And so I would like to have this approved so we can start this program again.
Also move.
John, is that what you're looking at now?
I've looked at it, yes, it's 30%, its initial term is for 24 months, I think that's the time period it takes to go through all this and locate these. It looks similar to the one that you've adopted in the past.
Okay.
John, while we're talking about this, why don't you tell the public what is the rule if you are voting somewhere? Is that your residence you live 5 months out of the year? I mean,
You can reside any place you want to, even for a moment, but your domicile is a whole different thing for voting. For example, right now, we all reside in this particular room, but that doesn't mean it's our domicile. Our domicile is our home. And so what this contract for and what the tax issues are, that people declare a particular residence to be their domicile. That's where they get their homestead exemption. Now, some people want to have 2 or 3 different homesteads because they spend a significant period of time in 2 or 3 different homes. But you can only have one domicile, one homestead. So you're only entitled to one homestead exemption in Indiana, or actually most states. Sometimes people will have a house in Florida and a house in Indiana and spend some time in Florida and want to create a homestead there because of the tax rates and that sort of thing. So you can only have one homestead, one domicile, that's it.
Okay.
We always tell them when they come into auditor's office, wherever their license, driver's license is the state that they reside in. That's another way we can pinpoint that.
Because you're only
Here,
11.
you made a motion to
I sure
approve
did.
it.
And I'll second it.
I've had a chance to look at the contract, as I said, it's similar to what you've adopted in the past.
I want to thank Steve for getting it lowered to 3% also.
We have a motion and a second. Steve, can you call the roll, please?
Ms. Riggin,
Yes.
Mr. Henry,
Yes.
Mr. King.
Yes.
Thanks for working on that, Steve.
I'd also like to welcome our new executive assistant, Jennifer Honeycutt. We approved her last month. Welcome aboard, Jennifer.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Do we have anything else? Jason, do you have anything?
We're good.
You're good this month?
We're good right now.
Okay. Anyone else?
Yeah.
Okay, we have the reports for weights and measures. Payment of claims in the amount of $2,825,570.33.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second for payment of claims. Steve, can you call the roll?
Mr. Henry,
Yes.
Ms. Riggin.
Yes.
Mr. King.
Yes. Do we have any questions, comments, any other business from the public? Entertain a motion to recess.
So moved.
Motion to recess. Can you call the roll?
Ms. Riggin,
Yours.
Yes.
Mr. Henry.
Yes.
Mr. King.
Yes. Go into recess.